Hey Cancer, welcome to your love reading for August 2019. This is for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Keep in mind these are general readings, you guys. Some of it may apply, all of it may apply, none of it may apply. No need to get upset, okay? They're general readings. And I always say check your moon sign and rising sign readings as well, because sometimes those resonate more than the sun sign. If you are not a Cancer and you're just being sneaky and checking up or trying to get a feel for what's going on with a Cancer in your life, you're more than welcome to hang out and watch. But do keep in mind, guys, I have a whole separate list of cross-watcher videos for people who are cross-watching. So link to the cross-watching videos is in the description, and you can check those out if you would like. So we're going to see what is going on with this one here in the area of love for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising for August 2019. One more shuffle here. Let me go ahead and put down 5 cards. All right, my dears. So foundation here, this is really good. You have a really strong foundation here. You're showing up with 10 of Pentacles, okay? So this is going to mean a few different things for different ones of you. Anytime we have the Pentacle cards in a love reading, it can indicate something is happening, or something, you're meeting someone, or you're connecting with someone through work or a work or business situation. That is a possibility. But as a reader, the way that I typically look at it when the Pentacle cards come up is that either finances are affecting a relationship, or it's just more general energy. Because keep in mind, guys, all money is a physical measure of energy spent, right? Like you put 40 hours of work in the week and your boss gives you 40 hours worth of pay. So it's just a way to measure energy that was put out there. And so this is going to be about energy. And so when we have 10 of Pentacles in a love reading, it's telling us that the energy is very strong. Something is manifesting. Something is coming into fruition, just coming into the real world, coming into the physical realm. So those of you who've been doing things or just working on putting positivity out there or working on yourself, you can definitely expect to see improvements in your love life coming in. Some of you have manifested an actual relationship, like it's already here, okay? So those of you who are like, wow, like this really seems like what I've been looking for, this really seems like what I've been trying to draw in, is this really the person? 10 of Pentacles coming up can indicate for many of you that yes, you've successfully been able to you know, realize that goal that you had, or realize that dream that you had, or you were able to manifest a particular type of relationship or a particular type of person. So 10 of Pentacles is just like something coming into reality, something coming into existence. Your next card here, my dears, is 9 of Swords. And this is so typical, like it doesn't even surprise me to see this at all. Because 9 of Swords is a card about anxiety, stressing out, being worried. It could be insomnia, sleepless nights. Typically when 9 of Swords is coming up, someone is spending a lot of time worrying about all the things that could go wrong, or they're spending a lot of time kind of like beating themselves up or judging themselves, or being worried somehow that people are going to be turning against them or not liking them. And that's very typical for the ego to do when things are going well for us. Your first card was such a positive card. It was like, yeah, you know, there's improvements, things are good. This is, yeah, I've been looking for this kind of person, they're here, like this is actually happening. And then what does our mind do? Like 2 seconds later, oh no, it's never gonna work out. They're gonna see right through you. They're not gonna like you. You're too this, you're too that. This is gonna go wrong, that's gonna go wrong. I'm just imagining it. Things never work out for me. They must have ulterior motives, blah, 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 blah. We know how our mind works. We all go through it, right? It's a part of being human. So for me, I feel 9 of Swords is coming up to tell a lot of you, you know, you're not wanting to go through life in an unrealistically, like overly optimistic way, right? It's good to be cautious. You can't just go jumping into things head first and be like, yeah, everything's gonna be, you know, beer and Skittles and sunshine and rainbows, and that's not how life is. But we don't have to be on the other end of the spectrum either and being super negative and being like, no, this isn't going to work out. Like, this person's no good, or there's something wrong with me and they're going to see it and they're not going to want me. With Nine of Swords, you know, I always say the message with this card is you might have some really realistic fears, right? Like, you might not have a ridiculous fear where, like, you're terrified you're going to get bitten by a shark walking down the street. Obviously, that's not possible. That could never happen, right? It's two things that don't go together. So, but you might have very realistic fears. Like, people get worried about getting sick, or they get worried about getting in a car accident, or they worry that, oh, what if my partner cheats on me? Are those things that are possible? Absolutely, they're things that are possible. But when Nine of Swords comes up, it's saying that a lot of the things that you're worried about may not even end up happening. Okay, they're possible, but they might not happen. The danger of the energy that you're in when you're in Nine of Swords is that it's such a strong level of worry, like where you're obsessing about it, you're losing sleep over it, like it's really beginning to get to you. And there's a reason why manifestation works for some people and it doesn't work for other people, right? Like, we've all seen the workshops and the classes, and I manifested this mansion and I manifested this, and other people do all the vision boarding, all this stuff, and nothing ever happens. It's because when you manifest something, the secret to manifesting it is you have to see it in your mind, and you have to feel all of the emotions, all of the feelings as if it's actually here. Okay, so think about it. What are you doing when you're worrying? You're picturing a scenario in your mind. You're seeing something in your mind, and you're feeling all of the panic and dread and sadness and anger, disgust, whatever it is. You're feeling all of the feelings as if it's actually happening to you. That's the recipe for manifesting. So when Nine of Swords comes up, it's saying beware of self-fulfilling prophecies. Be careful of what you're putting out there, because you are running the risk of calling in the exact thing that you don't want. So the message with Nine of Swords is, it's good that you might be aware of things that could potentially happen down the road. What is in your power to do something about it? The things that you have power over, the things that you can do something, by all means, go ahead. Do what you need to do to be prepared. Do what you need to do to, you know, have like things in place in case some certain things happen. But then there's other things we have no control over, right? I can be the safest driver in the world, but I have no control over the person driving behind me. If they're on their phone, or if they zone out, and if they rear end me, I can't control the person behind me. So there's going to be certain things that you cannot control. Those are the things you have to hand over to your higher power. Those are the things you have to hand over to your higher self, to the universe. Whatever it is that resonates with you, whatever your source of faith or belief is, those are the things you have to hand over and say, you know, God, universe, higher self, these are all the things I'm terrified about. I have no power over them. I'm handing them over to you. Help me get them out of my mind. Help me not to worry them, and hand that over. Okay, that's all you can really do at the end of the day. So our next card here is, oh my goodness, Cancer. You guys, snap out of it. You have it bad this month. We went from Nine of Swords to the Devil. The Devil is like the ultimate like negative ego. You're being way too hard on yourself. 10 of Pentacles came up and just told you, hey, things are turning for the better right now. You've got some really great things happening. You've got some really great prospects right now. But you're here like losing sleep, and you're worried about what might go wrong. And now the Devil card is showing up, so we know that two things are happening. Some of you are too busy thinking from the waist down, and you're making some bad decisions, and you're going after somebody who's going to be bad for you, okay? You already know the red flags, and you have some karmic thing going on. You know if that's the case. I don't even need to tell you. You know if that's what you're going through. But a lot of the other ones of you, and I think this is for the majority of you, probably like 80-85% of you, you're caught in this thing of constantly tearing yourself down, right? So it's not just worrying about what might go wrong. It's all of the reasons why you're not good enough, right? Like why it's not going to work out for you. One thing I can tell you guys is that, you know, and I know this from my experience, I know this from working with my clients for years and years and years. Right before you get to a really big breakthrough, like a really big level of healing, or like a really big chakra clearing or unblocking or opening up, that devil voice, that negative ego is the loudest. It is the loudest at that time. So the louder this voice is, if anything else, try to take this as an encouragement or like a moment of faith that you can push yourself and say, wow, I'm really close to my breakthrough. Therefore, here the negative ego is just like screaming all of this stuff at me because I'm so close to change. And the ego fears change and the ego is trying to push it away. So if anything else, don't take it as, oh, I'm weak or there's something wrong with me or I'm not like ascended enough. Don't know, because that's exactly what the negative ego wants you to think. Realize you're so close to your breakthrough that negative ego is just ripping you apart and tearing you down. So what you need to do is as difficult as it might be in the beginning, pay attention to your thoughts. So much of this is on autopilot. So much of it is like the voice of our parents or older siblings or whatever from growing up that picked on us or criticized us, and we just get so used to hearing that dialogue in our head that we don't even notice it. Like it's on autopilot. So try to be aware of your thoughts. Try to pay attention to the way you're speaking to yourself, the things that you're saying to yourself. And every time you catch yourself speaking to yourself in a way that is not loving or not kind or fearful or judgmental, stop that thought and say nope, and tell yourself the opposite positive thought. You know, if your thought is, I'm not good enough, right? Substitute that with whatever you're comfortable with saying. And in the beginning, some of it, regardless of how like modest you might come at it, it may still feel weird, but just keep doing it and it begins to set a new habit. So if the thought is I'm not good enough, then you can say, I'm perfectly fine the way I am, right? I'm good enough for the right people, or I'm good enough in this moment. I'm good enough and I'm going to keep getting better. Whatever it is you're comfortable kind of saying to yourself, begin to do that and begin to think the opposite positive thought. If you do this enough, eventually you're going to change that record in your head to a more positive one, okay? It takes time. It takes practice. I don't know a person alive that has it down to where like it's completely, totally, 100% wonderful all of the time, especially since we're always growing, we're always ascending, and every time we get close to like the next level or a higher level, we're gonna have that voice come up. It's just a part of being human, okay? But we already know there's a lot of things going well for you. So don't give in to this train of thinking. Don't give in to this way of thought, because it's yourself working against yourself, holding you back from a really big change, a really big shift. And so many of you have been working for this for so long, right? So it's a shame to get right to the door and then turn around and go back home. Like, you made all this effort, you came this far, right? It might be scary, it might be uncomfortable, but just go through this next push, because this is a big breakthrough for many of you. Your next card here is Five of Wands. And Five of Wands, again, is competition and competing goals, okay? So some of you are experiencing this in that you're competing in your head by comparing yourself too much to other people. You're competing in your head of, oh, well, this person's, better than me, or that person's better than me. Some of you have other people who aren't happy about the changes that you're making, and who aren't happy about what you're doing, and they want to pass judgment, and they want to try to intimidate you, and they might do it in passive aggressive ways. They might do it in very overtly or clear ways, okay? This always happens when we're at moments of success. I've seen this happen with my own life. I've seen this happen with clients, where you get into a time of, you begin to master that negative voice in your head, where you're like, I'm not going to give into this train of thinking. And then you have like overtly negative people around you. A lot of religions will classify this as persecution, like you're being persecuted, right? I don't like the word persecution, and I don't like, you know, looking at it from like that vibration. I'm just saying it because some of you may be familiar with that concept. So when you're coming out of that negative ego and you're beginning to believe in yourself, don't be surprised if there's people around you who want to be dirty. Don't be surprised if there's people around you who want to try to scare you or intimidate you or make you feel like you're not good enough. You know, and keep in mind, this is a love reading. So this could be for a lot of you, you're beginning to see someone or you're beginning to become more serious about a relationship. And you may have people who are trying to put negativity in your head, or like compare you to other people, or tell you, you know, you might be dating somebody younger than you, and you might have friends and family saying, oh, it's only a matter of time before they, you know, realize that you're older and they're going to go and they're going to want somebody younger, or whatever it is, or, oh, you know, this person's just using you, or, oh, this person's really good looking and they're just going to like end up being a player, or whatever it is they're putting in your head to think negatively. Other ones of you are just dealing with friends or family who see that you have a chance to be happy here. Some of you are really like in a relationship after a very long time of having like, you know, quote unquote bad luck in love, or being alone or being lonely. And so you might have, you know, that old saying, misery loves company. You may have bonded with certain friends through that time of sadness. And now that they see you, that you're happy, they see that this is a potential for somebody that you might be getting settled in with, or a relationship that's going to reconcile and heal, and you guys are going to be able to work on your partnership, and they just feel all of a sudden like they're going to lose you. So they might put all kinds of things in your head, why this relationship's not good for you, why you shouldn't trust this person, why you shouldn't be in this situation. So just be cautious and be aware that not everyone is going to give you advice that is 100% with the mindset of benefiting you or helping you, okay? A lot of the times, it's sad to say, especially when you're a really good friend, especially if you're the kind of person that drops everything and picks up the phone and goes to rescue people, those friends are going to freak out when they see you having changes where you're not going to be as available, okay? And they may try to discourage you or sabotage you in some way. Sometimes they don't realize that they're doing it, so don't be mad, don't hate them, don't take it personally. Just understand and know that you can't always take everybody else's opinion, or everybody else's motives might not be as pure or as selfless when it comes to you in your life, okay? Some of you, I do feel, are making changes in the style of your life or in the way of your life to where you're making yourself more available for a relationship, okay? This doesn't mean that you have to give up your life and give up your identity and completely and totally 100% always be putting the other person first. But especially those of you who've been single for a long time, you know, you get into your habits. You get used to going where you want, doing what you want. If you want to work super long hours for like 7 days straight, whatever, you can do that. But now that there's a relationship and something that's like forming and something long lasting, you're going to have to take into consideration, you know, being there for that person, or, you know, maybe not working so much and spending time with them. The key here is balance, right? Again, you never want to go from one extreme to another, but some of you are realizing ways in which your life right now might not be very compatible or friendly with a relationship, because you've been doing you, which is good, you know, you should be, but you're having to make some changes in some way. There's just some things that are competing or distracting, and you're going to be having to find the balance and picking and choosing between those things. Your next card here is the Magician, okay? And those of you who are familiar with tarot, you know that this is a major arcana card. And those of you who are used to watching my readings, you've heard me say in the past that when we have the major arcana cards come up, it's telling us it's a very significant time in your life. This is like a crossroads. This is a life lesson. This is a soulmate situation, okay? So again, also the Magician card would be associated or connected with manifesting. So you have that first card, the Ten of Pentacles, which was about manifesting something into reality. So your readings, pretty much the first card and the end card, are saying the same thing. It's almost like, you know, Spirit's coming through and wanting to confirm for you that you've manifested this. You know, whatever it is in your life. Maybe it's not a good thing. Maybe you're like completely and totally miserable, right? Whatever is going on in your love life in August, you have manifested it. Okay, whether you were in that Nine of Swords, everybody's gonna use me, nobody's honest, everybody has, you know, a motive, this and this and that, you know, whatever it might be, or, you know, if you have something good coming in, you've manifested it. So be cautious of your thoughts and be aware of what you're thinking. From the cards, it does seem to me the majority of you have some improvements in your love life. Things are going well. You just have to be cautious not to push them away, because that's what the negative ego will do. Things will get good for us and we shoot ourselves in the foot. It's human nature. Don't be mad at yourself. Don't beat yourself up for it. It happens. Everybody does it, okay? But this is your message for August. Be cautious of the thoughts you're having about yourself in your love relationship. Be cautious of the opinions of other people and whose advice you're taking, because you're at a kind of a crossroads here. You're like kind of at a delicate stage, right? It feels like you might be in this make it or break it moment here with a relationship. And the cards are indicating a lot of you have really called this in. So do you really want to shut the door on it now? Do you really want to push it away? You know, think about that. And when the Magician is coming up here, it's asking you to be aware of your thoughts, because you're manifesting very quickly, okay? You're calling in. Again, guys, check out your moon sign and rising sign videos. Some months those may resonate more. Those of you who watch my videos, you know, yes, obviously I do the love readings every week, but I hate when people get so hung up on love, they forget about other aspects of their life. So please, 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 my dears, do check out the weekly forecasts where it focuses on career, spirituality, you know, your personal life. You, just like you, Cancer, as a person without the love interest, without, you know, worrying about a relationship, all the other important aspects about being human. So those get posted every single week. If you don't know, now you know. Be sure to check those out. And check out Instagram and Facebook every single day for the daily messages, Amethyst Angellight, Facebook and Instagram. If you would like a personal reading, there's a link in the description where you can go there, click on the Calendly link, and you can schedule a reading now for a personal reading. Love life, whatever it is you want to look into, more than happy. Thank you so much for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, and I wish you the very best, Cancer. Take care.